The work of Yuasa is wild. Distinctly recognizable for its unique visual language, his projects have been the subject of much recognition and praise. From the more cult nature of series like Pong the Animation and Tatami Galaxy to the widely known Devilman Crybaby, the man has an incredible output and shows no signs of slowing. If anything, he seems to be getting faster. But much to my surprise, even when I do hear people talk about Yuasa, I rarely hear about Mind Game. And you know, that's a shame because it's his directorial debut barring a short TV pilot he directed, and also it's freaking incredible. Mind Game is a fascinating film, and on both the first and second viewing I found it profoundly captivating. It has such a uniquely varied sense of tone and character. First it's art house, then action comedy, then family drama. The different attitudes it takes are strikingly varied, yet seem to perfectly intermesh. I'm going to technically spoil the movie now, but I will say that I don't consider this a film where the plot is especially important. Mind Game is very much all about the experience, but there you go if you care. The movie follows the story of Nishi, a loser incapable of taking initiative. He grew apart from his childhood love Myon for that very reason, but a chance meeting sets the events of the story in play. It turns out that Myon and her family have been hiding from debt hounds, and when Nishi comes over, the Yakuza just so happen to be paying them a visit. Myon is assaulted, her boyfriend beat up, and Nishi finds himself helpless. The moment he musters the courage to do anything, the very same moment that he finds a bullet exiting his skull. Too little, too late. But after meeting God, he gets a second chance at life, but only by exercising that initiative that he lacked. He doesn't die this time and decides to take life into his own hands, running off with Myon and her sister Yan. The epic chase scene culminates in them ending up in the belly of a whale, where they meet a man who has been trapped there for 30-some years. In this isolation, they are given the chance to find themselves, but ultimately they must escape, and escape they do. At first glance, it seems to be a surreal story about a man learning to take control of his life, and it is, sort of. He meets God, but this God is of the apathetic nature, though it is unclear how much of that is a facade put up to test if Nishi has it in him to fight and truly earn a second chance. This God straight up says that there is no afterlife, no reincarnation, and that humans were made on a whim for his own entertainment. Nishi realizes that possibilities can only become real with action, and waiting will never get you anywhere. We see imagery in the film with this specific quote, "Your life is a result of your own decision," a wholehearted embrace of the importance of self-action. No one else will or should choose our life for us. However, I think the fact that the message is directed explicitly towards the audience, as if someone is speaking right to you, rather than something to be inferred from a character arc, is what makes you start to see the camera pull back. And it keeps pulling back, right until the whole globe is in view. Because Mind Game is about one of my favorite things: humanity. I know that sounds goofy to say, but it's something well worth considering, and the film seems to agree with me on that. The concept of humanity and existence in itself is a fascinating and immensely exciting thing to think about. The idea that around me right now are billions of other people, all with their own thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and experiences, the way we're all connected in this infinite line spanning past and future, to me that is indescribably beautiful. Which is why Mind Game doesn't describe it, it visualizes it. The film opens and closes with an extended montage that races through flashes of important events in their lives. The lives of the primary cast, sure, but even characters that make only a very brief appearance in the main narrative are given surprisingly well fleshed out backstories which interconnect. However, in the closing sequence, which starts out by mirroring the opening, we focus in on one of the Yakuza, a man shown to be dissatisfied with the direction his life had taken, but tragically resigned to it all. We see his car pulling up to drive in pursuit of Myon, just like we saw before, and he turns left. We see him choose to instead reunite with the one he loves, and color explodes into frame at his self-actualization. A montage following the characters of the film plays once more, but now it is clear what we are seeing, what this is all about. Did the events happen or not? It doesn't matter. What Mind Game is presenting is possibilities. The variable that is every second of our lives from birth to death, that is exactly what the film is so infatuated with. Why it opens and closes showing us bits and pieces of possibilities across the lifespans of so many. Why the closing line is, the story has never ended. Mind Game is, like I said, a movie that very much desires to speak to the audience, and by showing this diverse range of feelings, snippets of infinite circumstances, it imbues a sense of unity to the individualistic, a sense of meaning to taking one's life in their own hands, even in the face of the prospect that the world will keep on turning without us. This quote from Nishi, a response to the group's expressions of doubt at escaping the comforting abode that is the whale, quite aptly sums up the film's philosophy. So what? I want to get out, cause there's so much out there, so many different people living different lives, incredibly good guys, bad guys, folks completely different from us. It's one huge melting pot. See, it's not about success, dying in the streets, who's better, who's not. I just want to be a part of it. I realize that even if I've got no connections, no money, no talent, even if I'm one big loser, I want to use my hands and feet to think and move, to shape my own life. We can just die here, or we can try. And try they do. Animation is my favorite medium for a reason, and that reason is this movie. Nothing else can visualize what experiences feel like, the uniquely personal emotional tinge everything we witness is colored with. Music is too abstract, live action too literal, comics too static, but animation can show the idea of the feeling of an action, the only glimpse we will ever get at looking through another's eyes. It is absurd and exaggerated, but so are our emotions. Taking the next step forward in your life might feel so monumentous that it's like jumping off of the very atoms that make up the world around us, and you won't find the catharsis of that depiction anywhere else. Mind Game is a joyride like no other, and yet also has so much to say along the way. It's a movie about life presented in a way that is inspiring, exciting, and unlike any other. Taking initiative is hard, but you're the only one who can do it. You are the one who controls your own perspective and outlook. To choose action over inaction is a decision it is up to you to make. But humanity's happening, and don't you want to be a part of it? Thanks for watching. Mind Game is a fantastic and incredibly intricate film that definitely deserves more attention. So I hope I've managed to convince you to give it a try, or made you appreciate it even more if you've seen it already. This video is meant to be only a contribution to the conversation, as there's so much that you could delve into with this movie. I only very briefly touched on the sub-theme of escapism, for instance. I'd highly recommend checking out this video by my friend Urban on the movie as well. I'll link it in the description and in a card on screen now. If you enjoy what I do, consider supporting me on Patreon, it would be a huge help. And if you did like the video, then leave a like or share it around. The film's not especially popular that I can see, so I'm algorithmically disadvantaged here. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next week.